When have we ever told our kids to go kill the bully? We taught our kids how to stand up to the bully. No matter if it was two of them, fight both of them. But you don't put your life in danger to kill unless you got killing in you. But if you listen to kill music, you got killing in you. There's no way good kids kill. Ooh, black people, y'all wrong. No remorse for the man family.
Kyle Rittenhouse, after he killed two people in cold blood, he raised over $1 million. Wait a minute.
Let's
the
talk
officer
about that.
who killed Michael Brown, he raised almost $2 million. So don't tell me that when black folks decide to put money and support behind a young brother who didn't start a fight, who didn't threaten nobody, who was sitting where he could have right to be sitting, was threatened more than one time, was physically attacked, he defends himself, and then all of a sudden he's in jail for murder. But guess what, brother? We gonna stand behind ours like you white folks stand behind yours.
Okay, let me
that
be
young
clear.
brother was attacked.
I know you're yelling because you really get worked up when you're lying.
But
let me say,
y'all killing
very
us.
clear.
But then it's justified.
Us killing
but
y'all.
when we defend ourselves,
now,
it's murder.
We have such a sickness in this country that involves not just crime, but the lies that follow. Because I know everyone now knows about the white kid that was stabbed in the heart by the black kid at the high school track meet. I don't think the altercation between the two had anything to do with race. I think the response on social media, though, has everything to do with race, because it actually baffles me that people donated to a teenager for killing another teenager and then running with all these different narratives that it was self-defense. The white kid was a bully. The black kid was a victim of white supremacy. Have y'all lost your collective minds? Because I know damn well that if the roles were reversed, you'd be singing a different tune. You have a kid that brought a knife to a high school track meet, allegedly placed himself inside a tent he wasn't supposed to be in, instigated a physical interaction by challenging someone to touch him while he was grabbing a weapon, and then stabbed the kid that took him up on that challenge, and then had the audacity to ask if it could be considered self-defense. If you have to ask, the odds are not in your favor. And now people are taking this tragedy and twisting the narrative that he deserved it because he was white, and being white is a provocation. It sounds pretty racist to me. If you lack the fundamental integrity to call out unjustified violence because of race, you could just keep your mouth shut.
Rosa Parks days is over. You cannot think that you can move somebody out of a seat that you don't own and think that it's going to be okay. And you can't determine how I'm going to retaliate on you when you put your hands on me in an aggressive manner. Austin Metcalf got exactly what he deserved.
But white people, obviously not all of you, so let me just get that out the way, but a bunch of y'all are just a bunch of racist, bigoted crisis actors.
People really believe that that kid had the right to tell Karmelo to move. If that kid would have just minded his own business, would he or would he not still be alive?
Yo, I'm gonna have to pop off for a little bit. The tribalism in the black community needs to end. It needs to end. Point blank period, it needs to end. The same people who tried to make George Floyd a hero, who built statues of the man and compared him to MLK, are now trying to make 17-year-old Karmelo Anthony, who stabbed to death an innocent young boy, simply because he touched his backpack, a victim. Someone who committed cold-blooded murder, a victim. A victim of circumstance, a victim of retaliation, whatever. I don't care. There is no world in which Karmelo Anthony is a victim. We need to divorce ourselves from this false notion that just because someone looks like us, we need to defend everything that they do.
If you're having a hard time distinguishing who was wrong, in the Austin Metcalf, Karmelo Anthony tragedy, just look at whose mother gets to visit their son in prison and which one has to visit their son in a graveyard. That should settle things.
This is what we glorify in Black culture. This is what people stand up for in Black culture. And I'm tired of people being too afraid to say what is really the truth about what's going on in that community. Now, I've been all over this on TikTok and on Instagram, and I don't really get into too many of the comments, but what I've been seeing from a lot of these Black people that are in the comment sections writing against me, like calling me all the names that they always call me, is that they're saying, well, Karmelo Anthony, like that white kid shouldn't have been an aggressor. You don't get up in people's face, and you don't get up in people's face like that. So what you are telling me is that if somebody gets into your face and if somebody is aggressive towards you, then that gives you the right to kill them. It's completely absurd. But again, it's a lack of accountability culture. Blacks in this country are take zero accountability. It is a no accountability culture because only a no accountability culture can exist like this. Only a zero accountability culture can be where blacks are in society right now at the lowest bottom of the barrel when it comes to income, when it comes to wealth, when it comes to net worth, when it comes to education, like all of this stuff. And that can only come from a zero accountability culture.
What is it? Nothing matters but this. He was at a school event at the wrong team's tent with a knife. He clearly chose murder than to walk away, cut and dry here. Nope, wrong. Imagine you are invited to a party at someone else's house and you are legally carrying a firearm. And then a fight breaks out and or like an altercation breaks out between you and some guy and, there's drinking involved or whatever. I'm not trying to make a 1-for-1 scenario. I'm trying to create a potential scenario separate from this one with similarities. You go to a party. Let's say you go to a party. And some guy starts saying stuff like, yo, man, get out of here. And you're like, I can do what I want. I was invited to the party. Verbal altercation escalates. And then the dude, you're standing there and you pull your sweater back and you've got a gun. You put your hand up and say, don't come close to me, bro. I'm warning you right now. Do not come close. Do not take another step. Then the guy grabs your arm and makes a move. So you draw your weapon and you use it. Okay, make the argument you have no right to defend yourself when you're being attacked by a guy. Make the argument. By all means, go ahead and do so. I ain't going to do it. I don't know the circumstances. You can argue that you're in a place you're not supposed to be. You can argue it's that guy's house, and it doesn't matter. A guy can invite you into your neighbor could be like, come on over, brother. And then if he gets physical with you, you can defend yourself. And then what? The police are going to be like, well, you were in his house. And it's like, yeah, you invited me in.
And now we're letting tribalism get in the way of truth. Being black shouldn't mean getting held to a different standard for better or for worse. We can't keep doing this thing where black people are always 100% victims and 0% responsible. We can't fight yesterday's injustice with today's double standard. That hurts everyone, including black people. Because if you look for reasons to apply a double standard, others will look for reasons to apply a double standard to you. Karmelo killed a kid. He turned a disagreement into a death. He took it from 0 to 100 when he had every chance to walk away. He took a life and ruined his own. And that's the only thing that should be black and white here.